Good morning. It is Thursday, May 14th, 2020, and I am happy to be coming to you here in my living room. And I'm going to invite you all as you enter to check out the comments and get yourself situated with some gear. So you'll see that I am going to work a bit with my bolster today. You can also substitute some pillows. And I've got some yoga blocks, but maybe you've got some good substitution for those, such as like a little stool. If you want a cozy blanket, as well as a journal and writing utensil. I'm going to offer some things today that you may want to do up against the wall, or you may just be cool with coming to the edge of the couch. So good morning and welcome. I'm actually going to start off kind of being in that place against the couch. And if you're arriving in and you've got some minutes to settle in and you've got your gear, then I'm going to invite you to also do the same. So I'm just going to come against the couch here, and I'm taking with me a blanket, and I've got some cushions that are nestled on the edge here of the couch, or the top of the couch. And I'm just going to scoot to the edge and come on down. So as you are getting situated, as you have time, get yourself in this place and enjoy settling in here. So as you're arriving, if being in this way along the couch or against the wall, you may have your legs completely up if they're against the wall. Or if you're not against a wall, then you can just simply do this in the freestanding, if you will, against the earth. So as we settle here, perhaps the hands will come onto the body. Maybe they're long along the body, or perhaps extending the arms up overhead. Taking some options, taking some time just to settle in as you arrive to this dedicated time and space for your practice this morning, or this afternoon, this evening, whenever you're tuning in. So I welcome you to be here, allowing yourself to arrive fully. As you're tuning in here to our practice, tuning in to ourselves, getting ourselves ready, whether that's grabbing the gear, whether that's coming into legs up the wall or legs resting on the couch. Allow yourself to begin to just tune in and notice the landscape of you here today, how the breath feels, how the mind is traveling, or if it's swirling, or if it's rested, still. Maybe checking in with the body, just to noticing what is new or different today, what might feel the same as yesterday. So if you're just coming into our space, we're just getting ourselves ready. Whether that's grabbing gear or getting yourself present with legs up the wall or legs up the couch. I invite you to stay where you are and enjoy kind of settling in and arriving in. And so, good morning, Denise. Good morning, Jolynn. Thanks for noticing my sweet little blanket here made by some of my students at Wilbert Wright. It was a beautiful gift with all different mantras that I had used with them throughout the school year. And so as you are tuning in, as you are getting your gear, whether you are staying in that legs up the wall or legs on the couch, I just want you to begin to kind of imagine that you had gotten into your car this morning and you had traveled to Namaste Yoga Studio. So good morning, Sally. Can you hear me now? Good morning, Joyce. If you can hear my voice, you can just give me a little thumbs up here in the comments just to make sure that if that's something that we just need to sort out for Joyce, or if that's universal that you are not able to hear my voice. So as you kind of get settled, again, I'm just going to invite you to think about the idea of getting in your car this morning and driving to Namaste Yoga Studio, your hometown yoga studio in Northfield, Ohio. And I want you to imagine that drive and what it was like and what you were able to see around you as you were driving into the studio. And I want you to imagine parking that car and coming up to our door with a beautiful open sign and entering into the studio space. And if you've been to the studio, you may really have a good image of what that looks like and feels like. And if you've not been to the studio yet, hopefully you will join us soon. And so you can imagine what that looks like. And when we say hometown studio, it's really like also like your hometown studio. So you can imagine coming home into the space. So as you enter the studio space and you feel that presence of that sense of homeliness and connection with others and community, I want you to find that feeling as you arrive here. So I'm going to invite you to either take legs up the wall, whether that's without a wall, that's totally fine. You can take this against the wall if you wish, with legs up the wall with the legs extended straight. Or you can come to the posture that I was just in, if you saw, where I was against the couch here with some extra cushions to level up my shins. Cozy up with a blanket perhaps as you do that. And I want us to begin there. And so as you are settling onto the earth, onto your back, in legs up the wall or legs on the couch, and you're imagining stepping in to the Namaste Yoga Studio and that feeling of coming home. And so you are at home and you did not have to get into your car, and you're still able to be with us in this community. And so as we settle into that, I just want us to be present with noticing what this time has given us. You know, it's maybe changed our routine. It's definitely shortened our commute time to get to work and to get to the yoga studio. And so being present with what that feels like. And so some of you have practiced with me before on the Friday mornings at 7 a.m. when I'm at the studio. I hope to be back there with you someday soon. And so as we arrive here, though, in a Thursday morning, and we come into this space that maybe looks like it's your living room or your dining room or your bedroom or wherever you're practicing, how do we transition? And so give yourself some moment here with legs up the wall or legs on the couch to begin to feel as if you've arrived to your hometown yoga studio. And again, as you are in this space, I welcome you to take this time to survey your breath. Survey the mind space and what is kind of going on in that dialogue, any storytelling, any kind of thoughts bubbling to mind. I mean, imagery again, as we thought about coming into the yoga space. And as we stay in the mind, I invite you to notice any feelings. What does that feel like when you think about transitioning to yoga time, yoga space, whether that's on your mat or even practicing off the mat, whether it's in a yoga studio or it's in your living room? What does that feel like for you? So notice the feelings that come up as we begin to settle in to our yoga practice. So welcome to those just tuning in, either starting with legs up the wall, against a wall or without, or legs on the couch. And we're going to stay here for one more minute, allowing us to kind of absorb this settling in, this arriving. So no need to do anything here except allow yourself to be present, surveying the breath, the mind, the feelings. Taking a couple more rounds of breath. Feeling that breath in the front of the body, feeling a lift as you feel the breath draw in. And then feeling the back body settle and melt into the earth as you breathe out. And then for a few more breaths, I invite you to notice the back body again, but this time on the inhalation. As you breathe in, can you feel the back kind of fill up as you breathe in? Draw the awareness to the back body on the inhalation. Feel that pressing of the ribs as they expand into the earth. So a little different, opposite sensation on the inhale, feeling the back body. And then on the exhalation, can you feel the belly deflate? Can you feel the navel sink down towards the spine on the exhale? Just allowing our awareness to be a little bit more focused on the exhale and the front body sensations as we exhale. Deflating navel down to the earth. And then just notice again, if that is kind of an opposite thought, an opposite feeling and sensation with the inhalation and the exhalation, just notice what that kind of triggers in the mind. And then when you're ready, we're going to gently come off of the wall, come off of the couch, and make your way onto the mat space with a bolster or a cushion. We're going to allow that bolster or the cushion to be long on your mat. And we're going to come with our hip. And I'm going to start with my right hip. So I'm going to do the same as you. So I won't be mirroring you for this one. So allow the right hip to be snuggled up against your bolster. Again, if you don't have a bolster, if you've got some pillows, some couch cushions, maybe you might want to stack them and get you a little more height and give yourself that time to play. And so that's what part of our yin practice is. It's getting yourself situated, settled into the right degree of the posture for you. And then we're going to find some stillness in that. So allow yourself to settle here. Again, if cozying up in the blanket, have that handy. But what I want you to do is as you settle that hip and you allow the right knee to be bent, find the sole of the right foot on the upper part of the left thigh. And if it's available to you, we're bending into the left knee as well so that we are creating maybe some 90-degree angles with both of those bent legs to the ankle, or maybe it's tucked in a little bit more from that. So you find that degree for you. And as you start to find your bolster, you can look and see if you can line up your chest and your shoulders to the edges of your bolster or your pillows here. And then you can just stay up here and just press in, lengthen. We're going to feel this on the side body. And then as you are comfortable, coming down and lowering navel as it's able towards the bolster or the pillows. And then find a way to support the head here so that the head can be long, looking straight down, or perhaps you want to look to the left or to the right. So I'm just going to give you a chance here to explore, to kind of see how that all lines up for you. This is called deer pose. And in this pose, you may decide to do it without any cushions, any props. That is totally an option too. As we settle here, it's into a twist, into kind of opening the side body, the hips. You may feel this in the back, in the belly. Maybe depending on how you have your head, you're going to feel it in your neck. So you're getting quite a lot here in one pose. Wherever you decided to be, I want you to see if you can start to come into stillness in this posture. And I'm going to set the timer. I'm going to set that timer for 3 minutes in this posture, letting our right side drape over. And in yin, it's an opportunity for us to come to some stillness. So maybe you have the urge to fidget. I'm going to invite you to see if you can work with that to find more stillness into these postures. And then we stay. We stay for a few minutes. You may decide that you really like these postures and that you can stay for a greater number of times. So when you watch the replay, if you're watching live, you can always certainly pause this, stay a little longer. Our time here will be 3 minutes. And we can use this time to continue to survey the breath, the mind space, or maybe start to really survey the body and where we start to feel these postures. How any sensations that come up, how they might trigger a thought. Maybe you want to stay with that thought, or maybe you want to tune back in to just simply being aware, noticing the sensations in the body. So as we did before, if an imagery works for you, just as we settled in to our first posture with the images of kind of entering the yoga studio. Maybe for here, it's as if you've entered the outdoors, in the woods, somewhere perhaps that you've seen a deer. Maybe for you that encounter, that experience brings up some good emotions or maybe some uncomfortable memories, experiences. As we come into our practice today, I invite you to really notice all of it, those opposite thoughts or viewpoints or feelings. Great job. As you begin to start to think about moving, notice what you want to move first. Maybe a little movement of the fingers or toes, or allowing those arms to allow an upright deer posture here, puffing out your heart. And then allow yourself to find some gentle way to move to the other side. I'm going to turn my whole bolster. You don't have to, but I want to continue to be able to look in the direction of you all. So as we settle here, maybe it won't take as much time for us to settle because we know kind of where we want the bolster. Maybe though the side is very different. So let's kind of explore in here. But before you lower, find that alignment with the legs, whether it's that 90 degrees that you're feeling or tuck it in more like 45 and 45 with both legs. Feel any amount that you can align the shoulders to the front corners of your mat or to your bolster here. Finding a little twist, coming a little bit more from the belly button, the navel center, and then begin to fold over your bolster. Again, finding how the head and neck will feel most supported. And then just taking one or two more breaths to align, to see what feels right here. Fidget as you need to, readjust. And then I'm going to start the timer and invite you to come to some stillness now with me for 3 minutes. And as we come to this deer pose on the second side, maybe it's a very similar feeling, sensation in the body. So just scan and notice what might feel the same on the second side. And then take some time to really connect with surveying what feels different as we let the left side body drape over the bolster. You can stay with those sensations and the awareness of the body, or travel back to the woods with that deer. You can imagine that deer through the woods. Imagine that it may be solo or maybe it's with others. Maybe you've noticed that as those deer are around, they like to eat, don't they? They like to eat many things. Perhaps you enjoy eating deer yourself. So thinking about what they are eating that strengthens them, that gives them the nourishment that then maybe comes to you, or maybe that they pass along to their babies. Again, maybe you've had a personal interaction with deer. that is really sweet. Or maybe for some of us, maybe an encounter hasn't been as comfortable as we would have liked. So I'm just noticing if that imagery brings up something different for each of us. Maybe there's other thoughts that it triggers in the mind. Just being aware of what that image, what that creature of a deer, what that brings for us. Maybe some same or similar thoughts and feelings as when we were walking into the yoga studio. Maybe vastly different. And then when you're beginning to think about moving, notice what you wish to move first. Maybe you're really eager to get out of this pose. Maybe it feels so good you want to stay. If you're transitioning, transition slowly so that you can come back to uprighting your head and your heart, and then puff up your heart just a little bit more. Take a bigger inhale and feel the chest lift. And then begin to come into a seated posture, any seated posture that feels really good for you. And then just finding some stillness and just feeling what we've done here. Now we've traveled into this yoga space. We've also stepped out into the woods. Maybe with very similar or very different thoughts and feelings. Take this time here to transition back to yourself here. Feel your inhales and your exhales. Perhaps a sensation that is very different from the in-breath and the out-breath. Perhaps the stillness feels really good, or perhaps your body is asking for something different. I'm going to ask that you kind of tune in now to yourself, venture into your inner landscape and notice what you might want. Maybe it's some cat-cow, so chin down towards the heart and rolling the shoulders back and lifting the heart to the sky. Or perhaps for you, it's a little bit of a Sufi grind, a little circle of the chest and the heart as it rounds over towards each knee and back, creating a circle. Allow yourself to be creative here, to notice what your body might want, some movement, perhaps it is, or again, maybe it's just being really comfortable to be still. If you were taking those circles in one direction, I invite you to take it in the other. So just a few more rounds here. And again, traveling through your landscape. Coming home to you. One to two more breaths here, and then we're going to begin to transition. We will transition to butterfly pose in yin style. So that butterfly can have really wide wings and creating more of like a diamond shape. Soles of the feet together. And again, grabbing some pillows, cushions, blocks, whatever you'd like, and settling it so that it is right in between the legs. And we're going to fold forward, but not just yet. So before you do that, notice again if those knees need some support. If you feel that that will bring you a little bit more ability to be still in the posture, then you can support those knees with some blocks or other pillows. And before we go down here, before we fly or rest and land here, I just want you to find some uprighted posture again. Maybe the hands come into the front of the, below the knees, towards the shin. And then allow the heart to expand upwards. Maybe the chin comes up towards the sky. And then exhale, find a long neutral spine. And step back a little bit here so that you can let the arms get straight and support you in this upright posture, but leaning back into the sit bones. And then we'll take some movement here for 2 more breaths. So inhale and bend the elbows, draw the heart forward, chin up, arching the back. And then as you exhale, come to a straight spine, but start to lean back as if you were back into the wall, straightening your arms, but using those arms onto the legs for support. And then one more time, inhale, draw it up, arc the back. And then exhale, neutral, straight spine, but lean back, straighten the arms. So we're coming into this place of thinking about really being present in this moment, kind of stepping into the here and the now. And so when you are ready, find an inhale and lengthen up. Maybe the chin draws up. And then this time as you exhale, bow down towards your bolster, towards your pillows, towards the earth. And then take some time here to notice and survey what would feel really homey, really comfortable in this place. And maybe you feel really at home right here. Maybe some more wiggling and movement is needed for you before I start the timer for 3 minutes. So take 1 to 2 more breaths here, wiggling, settling. And we'll arrive in a place of some stillness. And as we come in to this butterfly pose, I want to invite you to think about a mantra, a word. Maybe it's a phrase. Perhaps before you settle on one, just as we did with the body, before you settle on one, just let the mind think of numerous words or mantra that might help you to kind of be a little more present in the experience right now. So perhaps you have been really enjoying your time at home. Maybe you've been itching to get out into the woods or back to the yoga studio, to the grocery store, or being with friends. And just noticing if there is a word or a phrase that might kind of set the tone of how you are right now. Maybe you are embracing or allowing. Maybe you are curious. Maybe there's anticipation. Maybe there's some contentment, some nervousness. Maybe you've got all of these opposing sensations and feelings and thoughts. Notice what comes to mind, and then see if you can settle on just one word or one phrase. We have 1 more minute here, so staying with that, perhaps letting that word enter the body as you breathe in, and then allow it to fill the space around you as you breathe out. Allowing a few more breaths, letting that word, that phrase, what we've created as a mantra that we repeat to ourselves to keep the mind anchored and focused onto one word or one phrase. Perhaps the sensations in the body are creeping into the mind, and maybe those are what's wanting to be heard in the mind. So see if you can stay a few more rounds of breath with that mantra. And then as you get ready to move, see if you can find an upright posture, maybe moving, but maybe finding some stillness, aligning the head over the heart, over the hips, and over the sit bones. Just taking a moment to breathe in. Feel perhaps a sensation of energy or blood flowing back into the places in the hips and the thighs that we constricted. Maybe in that low back. And then go ahead and remove the props from underneath the knees and on top of. And then bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, fingertips towards the knees, and we're just going to move our butterfly wings here. Just opening and closing, crackles and pops in the hips. So moving both wings nice and slowly to open posture and closing them. Going in opposite directions. And then allow those wings to settle over to the left. And then back to center and over to the right. And so link this with your breath. Inhaling knees up, center, exhale to the left. Inhale, center, exhale, right. One more time, each side. We're getting a little massage here into the glutes, into the piriformis. You may feel that. And then come back to stillness here, and then we'll transition to hands and knees. And from hands and knees, let the hands be directly under the shoulder, the knees right under the hips. You can curl the toes or let them be flat. And then straighten your arms and lean back in towards your legs, finding a half child's pose here. And then inhale, come back up to your table, long spine, look down between your thumbs. And then as you exhale, press through the heels of your hands, come back towards your heels. 2 more times. Inhale, come back up to table. Exhale, set back. Moving again with your breath. Inhale up. Exhale back. This time as you come forward, straighten your legs so that they're long behind you. Maybe you want to keep the knees down, which is totally fine. If you can hover the knees right up, we'll find a plank pose. And then on an inhale, straighten the back even more. Pull the navel towards the spine. Long head, head is the top of the head to the bottoms of the feet. Feel length. Find another breath so that you can tune into your exhale and start to lower your knees. Your elbows hug into the side of the body, lower to the ground. And then keeping your hands right underneath your shoulders, maybe slightly back a little bit, and then tops of your toes towards the earth. Take a look down and then inhale, press through your hands, lift your head, lift your heart, for a baby cobra. Press into the tops of the feet, and then as you exhale, lower down, forehead rest. Connect with your breath. Inhale, lift up your head and your heart. Maybe your hands hover a little bit here. And then exhale, lower. One more time, move with that breath. Either hands on the earth or lifted. Feel the back body, feel the heart shine, and then exhale, settle here. Bring the elbows right in front of the shoulder so that we're creating a Sphinx pose, so that right from the elbows come the fingertips. Press down into your forearms here, giving a little space between the fingers. So this is Cobra, Sphinx pose, so that we can open the heart a little bit more. So imagine the shoulders drawing back and the heart pulling forward, navel towards our spine, tops of our toes press down to the earth. Take a few breaths here. For some of us, this will feel really good. If it's really cranky on the low back, you can certainly come back down to Cobra. If you're feeling a little bit more is needed, you can look to your thumbs, point your thumbs away from you, and then turn your fingers out to the side. We're going to come into seal pose. So as you come into seal, you can straighten your arms. This is a total option. You don't have to. You can stay in that Cobra. You can be in your Sphinx. If you're in seal, think about keeping the navel towards the spine, tops of the toes pressed down so we anchor down, but then feel a lift from the hips up to the heart. Gaze down to the middle of the fingers. Stay here for 3 more breaths, wherever you are. Find one more breath in. Let that breath empty out. And then lower back down to the earth. Your hands can stack on top. Maybe your arms will feel really good to stretch out long in front of you. And then we'll just take a little counter to that. You can let the knees bend, the soles of the feet to the sky. Just as we did our butterfly, let's find that butterfly with wings to one side, both legs to one side, and then back up, and then to the other side. You can find this again with the linking the breath. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, legs to one side, a little twist, little release of the low back. Finding this movement with the breath. Exhale to one side and inhale to center. One more time on each side. And then coming back down to legs straight. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders. You can come into table. Perhaps you are feeling that you want a downward facing dog, a more extreme inversion here, letting your hips be high, your head be low. And then taking a pause for 2 more breaths in child's pose, perhaps, maybe with table or downward dog, as I am doing. And then we're going to look to the hands and take the left foot up in between the space between the hands. So that may take some more adjustments. Align the knee right over the ankle. And that back knee can be lifted or lowered. Take some time here to just play and notice that alignment. Notice how it might feel for the knees to be down or up. We're going to come into a dragon pose here. So again, the back knee can be down or lifted. Wherever you decide to be with the back knee, can you begin to lift the heart? So it's right over the hips, the head over the heart. Maybe you want to find some wings here. Maybe your dragon is flying. Maybe there's some movement with this. perhaps stillness with hands out, creating like a high five gesture here. The hands can also be weaved behind the back of the head, elbows wide. I want you to find 3 more breaths here in dragon pose. Again, as you are in this more upright posture, survey the breath. Survey the mind. That mantra maybe seems really appropriate or maybe not in this moment. Survey the sensations in the body. And then come back to that mantra or that breath. Extending the arms up and then down towards the ground, either child's pose, table pose, or downward dog for a stopping point, a transition for 1 to 2 more breaths. Perhaps the breath out the mouth as if you are breathing fire. And then look towards your hands. And any way that you need to, the right foot now is going to transition up in between the hands. Knee over that ankle and that back knee, play a little. See if it's lowering down, feels right today, or lifted. Again, remembering that our sensations here could be very much the same, or maybe they're very different. You could have a very opposite experience from this side compared to the first. So take some time to accept that. Decide if you are going to do the same as the first side with the hands coming up, head over the heart, over the hips. And again, noticing the arms. Do you want the same experience or do you want something different? And taking this time here to reconnect with the breath. Connect as we strengthen the legs here. Finding this posture is a little more yang-like, but can we still find the quality of yin? Coming back down with that back knee if you need to. But even if it's upright, where can you allow some settling, some stillness to be? Steady ourselves maybe with a gaze. 2 more breaths. And then as you begin to come back down, again, perhaps that downward dog felt really good as a right inversion and resting point for you. Maybe table, child's pose. 1 to 2 more breaths here. And then we'll allow ourselves to flip over onto the back. And wherever you are, take some time to find the earth, maybe with a little added challenge of moving slowly, or allow that to be a quicker pace. You're ready and eager to come onto your back. As you're here, let the body go long, let the hands reach overhead. And then move the feet towards the right edge of your mat. Move your hands over, maybe even off of the right side of your mat, creating an arc. We call this banana asana in yin. So I want you to feel this opening on the left side of the body, kind of squeezing and compressing the right side. You can perhaps take this a little bit further by crossing the left leg on top of the right ankle. Maybe reaching the right hand for the left wrist. Notice you can pull and really reach, or you can allow yourself to settle, making sure the left hip and shoulder stay anchored to the earth. Remembering we don't have to go to the complete opposite extremes here. We don't have to overstretch. We can still allow some degree of a stretch while engaging the back body onto the earth. Coming back home to what feels just right for you. Two more breaths here. Expanding the left side body in Banana Asana. And then coming back to neutral, to allowing the body to be long and straight. And then begin to walk the legs over to the left corner of your mat, keeping the feet parallel, and then walking the hands over. And noticing if perhaps you've got a little bit bigger of an arc on this side or a little less. Perhaps that means that crossing the right ankle on top of the left would feel good or not so much. Keeping that back body anchored to the earth. Feeling the back body expand on the inhale. Feeling the front body deflate down towards the earth on the exhale. Allowing two more breaths to be in this posture, guiding you to feeling your sense of connection here. And as you come back to aligning the body, perhaps coming into stillness would feel just right, or some fidgeting movement is needed. Perhaps you're feeling that coming back to legs up the wall would feel good, or perhaps Shavasana long onto the earth. And as we enter into this final posture together, wherever you decided to be, legs up the wall again, or on the couch, or laying flat on the earth. See if you can feel symmetry, feel sameness on the left side and the right side. As we explored some differences today, we've also explored many things that were the same. Feeling the ways in which we may have be different in this time from where we were a month or 2 months or a year ago. But feel what is the same. Arriving back to that sense of familiar, of homeliness, connection to our inner landscape, to ourself. Where can you arrive a little right here, right now, to be really at home and at ease? Feeling the steadiness of your body and your mind and your soul. Notice if it would feel really good to stay right here, right now. Or if transitioning to one side and up to a seated posture is what you are ready for, you can take that. Perhaps it's rolling over and connecting with your journal, taking some time to capture any images or words, phrases, reflections. So I welcome you wherever you decide to be to feel that sense of coming home. I'm bringing into union the mind, the body, the breath, the soul. Allowing yourself to feel as one within and throughout our community here. Thank you so much for coming into the space together, for allowing me into your home. And so may you have a wonderful day either at home or in the woods or wherever you adventure out to. May you be well. May you be filled with love and grace. And until we see each other again, I honor you all. Namaste. Be well, and love to hear from you in the comments. And if you want to share your mantra or feelings that were captured in our images today, welcome you to do so. As we begin to think about opening the studio, if you'd like to open your wallet and make a donation, we do have a link on the Namaste website for you to make a donation to support us as we begin to venture into this new time and space and thinking about opening up our doors to you all. So whatever that looks like, whatever that is, I hope that you know that we are so grateful for you to be part of our hometown yoga studio community. So be well. Connect with you soon.